Welcome again to Stop Smoking, Stop Drinking. And I am your host. So here we have another ranting by a crazed lunatic, by our neighborly crazed lunatic, Mr. Umar Johnson. I refuse to call him doctor anymore because I don't believe this guy's a doctor. Any doctor that I know, they don't act in this sort of way. Any doctor that I know has an office. I never heard of a doctor that travels the street, and even with barefoot doctors, which you can find in many parts of the world, um, they don't scam people, and they even have their own office in some sense, in a way. So this guy has no office, and he's ranting and raving about Dwayne Wade. So let's check him out, and then I'm going to tell you my opinion on this subject.
Y'all know where I stand. I'm not going to get into the sexuality. Y'all know where I stand.
So first of all, this guy is ranting and raving in the middle of a park. Okay? No more, you don't see him anymore in his dilapidated apartment, whatever that place was. So he's out somewhere in the middle of a park. I'm guessing it's in Philly. In Philly, you got to know that it's like freezing outside, right? So at this time, it must be like really cold. It must be, I would say, like 40 degrees. It's still cold. That's cold to me. But 40 degrees outside, right? He's in Philly or Delaware or something. That's the degree today. You can check the degree. Let's check the degree today. So here's the weather forecast. We can say he's probably doing it in the morning. So it's between 40 and 50 degrees. Today is a Wednesday. Okay. It's cold outside. It's pretty cold. Okay. And he is sitting outside, yelling, ranting, and raving outside because he doesn't have an office to do it in. And he doesn't have an apartment to do it in. And I really, truly believe this guy is homeless. He doesn't have anywhere to stay. So he's staying in his car. Because even if you want to hide from the people that you are staying where you're staying at, because some people might think, okay, he's hiding where he want to stay at. That's why he's not showing us his apartment. You can just put it in a corner of the apartment with white walls and just make your video like that. But the problem is that Umar Johnson does not have anywhere to stay. He doesn't have an apartment. So he cannot show you that. Because whenever he has somewhere inside that he can film and there's nobody around, then he'll do it. Because if he had the choice of making a video where nobody is around, he would do it. And where would you make a video where no one could disturb you? You would make it in your house, or you would make it in your office where no one can disturb you, right? Where you can make a video without looking behind your back without swiveling your head all about. But he's not doing that. He's making videos outside because he does not have an abode. He's homeless at this moment. And he's living in his car. So where does he make his videos? In his car, walking around, trying to find a Wi-Fi signal. And once he finds it, he makes a video. Or what he's doing right now, he has like a booster phone. And he's making the video from the network. Right? So he's just like a homeless YouTuber who bought an abandoned bomb shelter and wants us to donate to his lifestyle. What he should have done is just ask people, give me donations, and had a little smaller office or a small center, and then he has a room in the back somewhere. And then I think the people could have accepted that. No, you had to go do this whole big grandiose thing. You could have just rented a place, a very smaller place within a structure, and that would have been okay, and you would have tons of money left over. But this guy, he doesn't think. He doesn't, he's not qualified to be any kind of organizational leader. He keeps saying, "I'm the best at this. I'm the best at that." He sound like a broke down Muhammad Ali. Like Muhammad Ali did stuff. This would be Muhammad Ali if he was on crack. If he would have been like, "Yo, I give up. I give up about life. I hate life. Forget it." That's what you got in Umar Johnson.
Let's keep it on the level of black parenting. Let's keep it on the level of black parenting.
And this is what frustrates me. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be playing it. But here's this guy talking about preaching to us about black parenting, and he doesn't take care of his two daughters. He doesn't take care of his children. He doesn't pay an ounce of child support. So how are you going to tell me how to take care of my children? I am a dad. I have two children, and I'm there every day of their life, and I take care of them. I have a full-time job. I work. I take care of my children. I'm married. We are a nuclear family. This guy can't tell me nothing. Right? He can't tell me anything about what I should be doing.
Parenting. Children, and I have observed this. You're talking to a clinician. You're talking to a clinician.
He's not a clinician.
You're talking to a clinician. I have seen situations where I've done therapy and counseling with children who hate their parents. I have done therapy and counseling with children
look at his head in a
who
swivel.
hate their parents.
Look at his
and
head.
Guess what? One is the biggest reason.
Look at his head going on a swivel. What are you looking for, Umar? What you looking for?
I have done therapy and counseling
Who are you looking for?
with children who hate their parents. And guess what? One is the biggest reasons. One of the main reasons why they hate their parents. Guess why? Guess why?
Look at him. What are you looking for?
I can't be your therapist unless you come to the agency that I work for.
What
because
agency?
I don't have my license.
Okay, what agency? Your agency? You don't have an office. I'm gonna tell you a story. Okay, we not gonna get through this whole thing. I'm gonna tell you that right now because I can't stand his fucking bullshit talk. Sorry, excuse my language. I can't stand his BS talk. Okay, we not gonna get through this whole video. I want to tell you a story. Now, I was a victim of the system, and this is why the reason why I fell for the Umar, his talking points. This is why I fell for it, and this is why I foolishly donated that money. So I was a victim of the system. I was adopted, because my fam didn't treat me right. I didn't know my parents or whatever. I don't call people to feel sorry for me. I did my thing. I do my thing. Okay. So I was adopted, and then I went through the system, ran away, did all this other problems and stuff. And then I landed in a group home. And when I was in a group home, you have these counselors, and they would just ride me all the time. Anything I did was wrong. Part of the irresponsibility was me, but the other part was them. And you used to have this character that's just like Umar Johnson, except that he doesn't ask for money, but he was like the same type of person, a hypocrite. And every week he would come, we would have these meetings, and he would come and just berate me. Like, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to be making your bed. You're supposed to, I was living with 13 other kids. They were stealing my property. They were doing all kinds of stuff. I was working a full-time job, and I just couldn't get any sleep in the house. Um, and then I went to school, went to college. I failed out, dropped out of everything, failed everything. Because I was just acting like this immature at the time, And so you're only allowed to be awarded a state until 21. So at 18, I went to college. I messed up, and I came back to the group home. And then they were riding me like, "You just bad. You need to go get a job, go get a trade, and all that stuff." But I wanted to have another try, so I wrote a letter to. There was this a university, a SUNY school, State University of New York, one of those. I wrote a last ditch effort because my 21st birthday was coming up. And I really didn't want to be caught in having one of these low end jobs like these counselors, right? And this independent living counselor, that's what he called himself. And so it had to be like 5 days in the middle of winter, 5 days before I was to get kicked out. I did not have a plan. I was scared, frightened. They were going to put me in a halfway house. And then I got a letter in the mail saying, "You got accepted to the university. Congratulations." And that's where at least I could have some room and board and everything. And my tuition was paid for and all that other stuff. And I was like, great. This is great. This is my last chance. This is the only chance I'm going to have after this. And I can't mess it up. So, yeah, it was like the 5 days before. And then they just did everything like to get my butt out there. They put all my clothes in plastic bags, and I had like 4 plastic bags of all my belongings, of all the things I ever owned in my life. And so we're riding to the school on the day of my birthday. That's the day I got out, and it was snowing like heavy. So on the day of my birthday, this guy, just like Umar Johnson, decides to say, "Well, you're not going to be able to survive by yourself. You're just a mess up. You're an F up." And I was getting help from these like white people because they were my mentor and stuff. And they were just like motivating me. Like, you should go to school again. Try again. Maybe the first time you messed up, but try again. Just do it, Just do it. While my other side, my black side, was saying, "You're a loser. You're a mess up. You're a F up." So these white folks were saying, "Go ahead and do it." They're like Jewish people and stuff. And so I was like, okay, hold on. And then he started going on this tirade of white people, how white people are your enemy, white people are the devil. Don't let these white people tell you what to do. And, it was just a tirade on Jewish people, on white people. And then I asked him a question because I knew at the same time that he was dating a white woman. So I was like, well, you're dating a white woman, and then you're telling me not to congregate with them. So what is it? And it was this big type of, it's this a hypocritical situation. And after that happened, I just lost respect for the guy. But he dropped me off at the college, threw my black bags on the ground, and he was supposed to be an independent living counselor, kind of like a life coach. What they say what a life coach is now, that was back in the days, that was an independent living counselor. And so he dropped all my things on the floor, on the ground while it's snowing. And he's like, "Yeah, all right, see you." And then he drove off. And he was the director of independent living. And I'll never forget that day. And I just, I was kind of crying because I'm like, 21-year-old guy crying. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? This is my last chance. And I never heard from him again, never heard from those people again. Till this day, never heard from them again. "How you doing? Stop smoking. Are you okay? Stop smoking. Did you pass? Did you graduate?" Yeah, and I ended up graduating. I even got an award for best thesis because I wrote like a thesis, and I got an award for that. No cum laude, but I was like B. Okay, so B plus. B was my average. right? I wasn't the smartest of people at that time. But I got B plus average, B average actually, not B plus, B average. And what happened was they never called back another. And I ended up just graduating. Excellent job. I got a job immediately after university. Never looked back. I'm excellent living now. Wife and children, nuclear family, living the American dream in another country. Okay. So, but I gave him money because, he be saying some type of things, right? And some of the things he says, some of the things he says, you can resonate with, but it's coming from the wrong guy. So some of the message, what he says is maybe right message, but wrong guy. But of course, this message is not right. Okay, so let's listen to this.
But I am now in the process of beginning to get my license. I'm doing the process, y'all. Dr. Umar is going to go for his license. I don't know if they're going to give it to me.
Oh,
I don't know if they're going to give it to me.
Himself up for.
I don't know if they're going to give it to me.
So what he's doing now is setting himself up for an excuse to give you later when he doesn't get it. That's all he's doing.
To me, but I'm going to go for my license anyway, brothers and sisters. What the hell, right? What the hell? How can the third greatest black psychologist of all time not have his license?
And all this superfluous shit like I am Superman, I am God, I am better, I am the second coming of Jesus Christ, and all of this crap. Who wants to hear this nonsense? He's the total opposite of what he's saying. And you got these idiot people in the comment section actually cheering him on, actually giving him money. There's a woman the other day gave him $500, and I'm like, are you on crack? Get out of it. Get out, I'm not the smartest person, I tell you. But after that one meeting, I only had to meet him in person one time to know that he was a fraud. Okay? So, and you know what? That was a while ago. And I haven't been on Umar like that. I haven't really been on Umar like that. I'm not following him around. I'm not doing any of this stuff. But just recently, after he bought this school, and then the scam becomes larger than what he was doing before. Before he was just begging for money just to, beg for money for, I got a book out and the book never comes out. Right? You get your little $20 here, $30. Now he's on a big scale, and he's making people responsible to claim responsibility for these abandoned bomb shelters. I would not be responsible for something that you chose to do. Nobody asked you to buy these abandoned bomb shelters and then get 140 something thousand in debt. I didn't ask you to do that. You did that yourself. So, and these other black people didn't ask you to do that. So you're going to put them on a hook for this? Like, you should be paying that. You should get a job. One is you should get a job. The second is, if you are the most respected, highly qualified, best black psychologist, then you should have some kind of business that doesn't require donations. This kind of business should require your skill. So if you're skilled enough, then you can make the money to keep on coming and coming and coming, and then you can pay these donations your damn self. You wouldn't need us to have donations. I could see if you were doing some business and we knew about the businesses that you were doing, and then you'd be like, yo, folks, I'm paying like half of it. I'm paying like 75%. I'm paying like half of it out of my own pocket, and I'll show you what I'm doing. Here's what I'm doing. Here's my business here. Here's my office. Here's what I'm doing. Here are the people that I work with. But what happens is you contribute nothing. All you do is walk around. You hop from state to state because you have nowhere to live except these hotels. You hop from state to state. talking this kind of nonsense, like this kind of thing, button into a matter that really has nothing to do with you, hoping to gain some kind of relevance and get some kind of momentum going. So now the biggest thing is Dwayne Wade and his transgender child, which I don't agree with, but that has nothing to do with me. I just turned it off. Right? So he wants to get in the middle of it, and he wants to get all entangled in it so that they'll have his name in this type of thing that's going on. And so he hops state to state talking this crap, not providing any type of service, though, except running his mouth.
Since I have to do this. Amos Wilson is the greatest black psychologist of all time. Bobby Wright is the second greatest black psychologist of all time. I'm the third greatest black psychologist of all time, and we are all
But by what standard? By what measurement? What have you accomplished? Just tell me one thing. Can somebody tell me one thing that this guy has done for the black community, for any community? What has he done? What is your body of work? What book have you written? What paper? Where's your thesis? Where's your thesis? We would like to see your thesis. If you're the third greatest, because all those famous people you talk about, you could find their thesis, you could find their body of work online, you could read their manifestos. Where is your manifesto? Where is your thesis? Where is your body of work? I want to see it. I want to read this book because, God damn it, I paid for it. So where is it? Thing is, you don't have it.
Harveyites. And we are all Pan-Africanists. I never went for my license because most of my work is as a certified school psychologist. And if I have to do any clinical work, all I have to do is get a licensed psychologist to sign off. That's all. I'm still a therapist. I still do what I do. I just got to get a licensed psychologist to sign off on my work. But
nasty ass fingers touching a nasty ass rock. This is his base of operation. It's a freaking park. And you are giving money to this guy? This is his base of operations.
I'm going to go ahead and try to get my license. In the meantime, I do life coaching. If you want a life coaching session with me, send me an email.
First, before you life coach other people's life, coach your own damn life, man. Coach your own life. Before you tell people about how to run their life, you run your life first. You have to have a place to live. That is the most basic thing. And if you have a business, you must have an office. Oh.
Umar Johnson at yahoo.com. Life coaching for you, life coaching for your son, your daughter, your husband, your family. I am a life coach, doctor of clinical psychology, and hopefully this time next year, licensed psychologist. I'm going for the license, brothers and sisters. I don't need a license to do what I do as a school psychologist. I'm certified. I'm certified. I'm certified.
How you certified and not licensed? That makes absolutely no sense. How are you certified but not licensed? I'm a certified nurse, but I'm not licensed. I'm a certified medical doctor, but I'm not licensed. I'm certified to conduct brain surgery, but I'm not licensed to conduct brain surgery. You see the way he twists words around? All right, okay.
Let's get back on topic. Let's get back on topic. I have a couple Neanderthals listening to my live feed. Why
and I think this is how he gets people. It's like he'll repeat things like 3 times. Like, I'm going to be at Alabama tomorrow. I'm going to be like at Alabama tomorrow. I'm going to be like at Alabama tomorrow. And when you look at it, you feel like you're in deja vu or something. It's like, I got a couple of Neanderthals. It is you. I got a couple of Neanderthals. I hate that about it. I don't need to hear it 3 times. And basically, he's assuming that his audience is not intelligent enough to understand what he said the first time, or not intelligent enough to rewind what he said. Okay, granted, it is on Instagram, but really, 3 times. He putting it on well, this, I think this is meant for YouTube, because there's no people speaking, like, what Instagram does, right? And just for the record, the reason why you don't see any ads is because I got an ad blocker on this mother brother. Okay? So I got an ad blocker on him. He's not getting a penny. But if the ad blocker was off, he has like freaking 8 advertisements in 12 minutes. So you can see he's really itching for money. Really itching. He'll do anything for it.
are they worrying about what I'm saying to my community? Anyway, email address drumarjohnson. If you're a black parent, you should know who I am and you should know my email.
Not really.
If you're a black parent, you should know who I am and you should know my email, because I am the only certified school psychologist in this country that fights for black children the way that I do. So if you don't know...
Oh, my God. These kinds of things. What he said? What did he say?
School psychologist in this country that fights for black children the way I am the only certified school psychologist in this country.
Let's see. It just took a very simple thing to look up black school psychologists. And here's an association of black school psychologists, and I bet you Umar Johnson is not part of this. He said he's the only black school psychologist in America that represent black youth. He said he's the only one in America. This one is in America. Look it. Even in Washington, Maryland, where he is, next to where he is, Fort Washington. So he's saying he's the only black school psychologist in America fighting for black children. Then why isn't he a member of this association? Why? And look, they have a board of directors. You see that? They have a board of directors. Let's look at something else. This is Dr. Umar Johnson's website. And basically, what is that saying? Dr. Umar Johnson's website. Where is his board of directors? The only thing here is for you to buy tickets to his hyena yelps. That's the only thing that this is actually good for, and you to buy and idolize him. And so he's charging $249 for his book. Can you believe this? $249. Unbelievable. But let's get back to where we were.
That fights for black children the way that I do. So if you don't know who I am and you got black children, something is wrong. Let's get back on point. Okay?
What are you looking around for?
12-year-old children in our community do not make adult decisions that cannot be reversed. You don't make. I always tell parents in my parenting classes. And if you want to bring Dr. Umar to your city for a parenting class, let me know.
There you go, pimping his services. And he always tells parents this, always.
I always tell parents in a parenting class, rule number 1, you never let your child make decisions as a child that they can't change as an adult. Never let your child make decisions as a child that they cannot change as an adult. You don't get to choose to be a teenage mother. You don't get to choose if you're going to sell drugs in his house. You don't get to choose if you're going to go to school in his house.
Where you looking around, Umar? Who are you looking for? Why your head moving? His head is turning like the Exorcist, man. Look at his head, son. Like it's like the Exorcist, man.
Decisions as a child that they cannot change as an adult. You don't get
suck cocks in hell.
You don't get to choose to be a teenage mother. You don't get to choose if you're going to sell drugs in his house. You don't get to choose if you're going to go to school in his house.
Look at him.
You don't get to choose if you're going to become a transgender at 12.
Some guy walking in the park seeing some screaming madman. Some madman screaming into his phone.
You don't get to choose that. I am your parent, and it is my responsibility. I am your parent, and it is my responsibility to raise you as I believe you should. If you disagree, when you become an adult, you can do what you want. But under this roof, we will do things a certain way.
Under this roof.
What if he becomes, let's say he goes through this transformation, and I don't know if he's under hormone replacement therapy or not. I don't know if he's under hormone replacement therapy or not. I don't know if he's under hormone replacement.
See, you say things like 3 or 4 times. I got it the first time, man.
Therapy or not. But if he's under hormone replacement and he starts getting breasts, and I don't know that this is true, and this could apply to anybody's child, and he's getting breasts and buttocks and hips and voice alteration, okay?
What are you looking for, man? Who are you looking for? What are you looking for, man? This nigga's always he's like shifty and shit, you know, like his eyes is always shifting about he's just looking to the left, to the right, to the back. What are you looking for, man?
Body's child, and he's getting breasts and buttocks and hips and voice alteration. Okay?
Look at him. What are you looking for?
In genital transformations, that won't be easy to change. What if he runs into Dr. Umar Johnson when he's 25 and gets conscious? What if he runs into Dr. Umar Johnson when he's 25 and he gets conscious, and then he gets angry at his parents because I should have never been allowed to transform my gender at 12 years old. I should have never been allowed to transform my gender at 12 years old. I should have never been allowed to transform my gender at 12 years old.
3 times.
Block party.
Oh, hoes ain't loyal. This is your family therapist, what your clinical psychologist, your certified but not licensed clinical psychologist. These hoes ain't loyal, right? He's supposed to be teaching about family, right? He's supposed to be a doctor and clinical psychologist, but these hoes ain't loyal. Swiveling his head in about.
Block party.
This is hilarious.
Hold on one second. I gotta
Joke.
send a quick
This is
message.
a joke. What dumb people are giving him money? Man, what kind of? He got one of those booster phones, whatever you call those phones. That, oh man, you calling me a hater, but it's a lot to hate. There's nothing to love about you, Umar. There's nothing to love about you, man. So you call this professional? Is this professional, what he's doing?
Why is that my ringtone? Because it's my phone. Let's get back to the why is that my ringtone? Because it's my phone. That's why it's my ringtone.
God, it's
You
hilarious.
Negroes love to major
You
in the
Negroes.
minors.
He's always talking about you Negroes, blaming everything on the Negro, but want the Negro to donate. Now, my thing is he talking about Dwayne Wade's child, right? And like I said, I don't agree with what Dwayne Wade or Gabriel Union is doing. Ever since he married Gabriel Union, he's been on the deep end. But that ain't my business. Okay? I can just choose to turn off the TV or stop reading the article. Now, this guy, if Dwayne Wade called him up and gave him a donation, he'd be okay with Dwayne Wade's son. If Dwayne Wade called him and said, listen, Umar Johnson, I'm going to give you a donation. I believe in your cause. Mr. Umar Johnson would be okay with Dwayne Wade's son. And Dwayne Wade wouldn't even have to say, Mr. Umar Johnson, I'm going to give you this donation, but you can't denounce my son. You must agree with everything. Dwayne Wade wouldn't even have to say that. If Dwayne Wade gave him a donation, Umar Johnson would be praising the transgender community. Mark my words, if that ever happened. It won't, because he's not relevant. Like, nobody gives him donations, okay? No one relevant gives him donations, and that tells you something. He's on the Breakfast Club because he delivers a lot of controversy, and they like that. So that's why they book him for the Breakfast Club. He delivers a lot of controversy. That's why they want him on the Breakfast Club. He probably won't get any more on the Breakfast Club. When he was on the Breakfast Club, Angela Lee is gone because she's part of interracial relationship. She's half Chinese, half black, so she didn't appreciate what he's spewing out. DJ, what's the other guy? DJ Drama? I forgot his name. The other guy, like, he knows Umar Johnson's full of shit. That's why during that meeting that Umar was there in the Breakfast Club, he wasn't even trying to hear any of that. DJ Envy, sorry, he wasn't even trying to hear any of that. He's like, this guy is he's a piece of shit, right? And Charlemagne is just going through the motions because he's getting paid. He's like, I'm going to get paid anyway. I don't give a shit. You know, Charlemagne don't care about the black community at all. He's just a talking head, you know. But this guy, yeah, he's just full of crap.
Talk about all the children I saved. Ask me a question about that. Ask me about all the kids I kept out of special ed, off meds.
How many children have you saved? Where do you work? Where you save the children? Good. First, you got to get to the basics. You can't just name me, Hakeem. Oh, I saved this kid called Hakeem Elijahwan. But where did he go to school? See, we don't need to know how many people you saved, how many kids you saved. We just want to know where you worked. Who did you work with? Where's your resume? That's all we want to know. We want to know Where's your board of directors? Where's your office? Where's the transparency in this money that you're receiving? That's what we want to know. Before people give you money, they should know what you're going to do with the money exactly, knowing how much you're going to spend, how everything is going to cost, how much everything is going to cost. You need an itemized list. You need Excel spreadsheets. You need, where's your financial analyst? You're taking this amount of money in. Where's your financial controller? Where's your finance team? You don't have any of that. And I asked my wife about this, and she's like a financial controller, right, in a big company. And she saw like I let her see 15 minutes of Umar Johnson. She said, "This guy he doesn't know what he's doing." He's like, and she's like, "You can't start a school." She's not American. She's from China, right? And she's like, they good with money. She's like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. You can't start any organization with donations. You have to have government sponsorships or some government endowment. You can have government endowment along with donations. Like they got stuff like PBS, right? Channel 13. They have government endowment and subsidies along with donations. You just cannot survive off donations. She's like, I never heard of a business that just survives off of your donations. Especially from the demographic where he's trying to come from. And she was talking, we were talking about, well, what's the demographic? What is his demographic? And his demographic are mostly single black parents. Right? Single black parents. It's not going to be from a nuclear family where a black child is coming from a healthy nuclear family. It's not going to be from that. So it's going to be from, the victims here are the single black women. Because it's not going to be from single black fathers because most of them, they are not. It's like probably less than 1% of single black fathers. Because the courts mostly give the parents, the kids to the mother. That's how it mostly works out. Right? And then those parents, maybe they working full time or what have you. That parent, that single parent, maybe they working full time. Maybe they're getting some kind of a check from the government. And then that check, 10% of that check goes to Umar Johnson. Every month, 10% of that check goes to Umar Johnson. So that's his demographic. That's who he's trying to get. But you can't sustain yourself on that, especially nowadays that the welfare, they're going to be welfare reform coming soon. And that's why I don't believe in stuff like they got this thing called ADOS. I know some people believe in that. Number one reason why I don't believe in ADOS, because once we get the money, we're going to give it to somebody just like him, because he's going to come knocking at your door. Oh, you got that reparation money? Well, I got this school, and then once you give him that money, your money is gone. You ain't never seen that shit again. Nothing. And then when you ask him, well, what did you do with the money, Umar? You're a trifling ass nigga. You're trifling. You're a trifling ass nigga. You're trifling. You don't ask me. That's not transparent. That's what he gonna do. He's a fraud. My wife just saw it like within 15 minutes. Like, yeah, this guy's a fraud. He's taking that money, and he's saving it. He's probably squirreling it, some of it away, for when this stuff blows up in his face. He might be prepared for it, and what he's gonna do is he's gonna run to Africa. That's what I think was gonna happen. The end game is running to somewhere in Africa, because he's too well known in the United States. They'll catch him. He's not gonna be able to run there. Either it's gonna be Africa or it's going to be someplace where nobody knows him, and it's going to be the opposite of what he was teaching you. So you might think, oh, he's going to run in Africa, but he ended up running to some place like Europe. Because I think in my heart, Umar loves white people. He's just pretending that he doesn't. Just like my independent living counselor. He's pretending like he don't be dipping in white women. I think he has done it, and he still does it. Nobody just don't see it, but he has and is doing it. I have it on intel that he was messing with those Japanese girls over there, the Japanese prostitutes in Roppongi in Japan. I have it on very good intel. He got him some prostitutes, Japanese prostitutes, because he's telling you don't mess with the white man, you know. And we all know that Asians are basically honorary whites in some sense, right? So he's telling you don't mess with these white people, man. Fraud, man. Fraud all over.
Jail. Ask me about that. Ask me about all the families I saved and marriages I've saved. Ask me about that. All the suicides I prevented.
Umar, it's ask me about that. Ask me about, not ask. Not ask me. See, this is how you can tell where he's from, you know. He can't help but bleed it out. So.
Ask me about that. All the principles I've helped. Ask me about
what principle? Umar Johnson, what principles have you helped? You talk about that Raheem woman who you weaseled your way in, and then when we showed you teaching, when you're not supposed to be teaching in a school, that you deleted everything? You mean that one? Who have you helped, Umar?
All the black people I brought to consciousness across the planet more than anybody alive.
No.
Ask me about that.
Oh my God. You hear this superfluous bullshit? This is what I'm talking about, and this is what makes me hate him. You can call me a hater. Because I hate people who lie like this. Who are so, I can't even find a word right now. I can't find a word.
About that. All the black people I brought to consciousness across the planet more than anybody alive. Ask me about that. Don't ask me about the ringtone. Getting back to the basics, because y'all love to digress. Getting back to the basics. 12-year-olds should not be making decisions like that. Because if he gets older and a young man decides that that was a bad decision, a child can grow to hate their parents for being allowed to make adult.
And you're gonna help that 12-year-old wash his dirty drawers, right? That's what you said, the dirty drawers.
Decisions, and that's why y'all have to stop that. Y'all have to stop that. Y'all have to stop that, brothers and sisters. My biggest concern is the age of the child. My biggest concern is the age of the child. Now, the painting of the fingernails and wearing the high heels and all this other stereotypically effeminate behavior, that's only skin deep. I don't appreciate it.
You'd be okay with it if Dwayne Wade gave you money. And who gives a shit what you appreciate? You don't take care of your own children. So how you talk about taking care of other people's children? How they take care of their children when you don't take care of your own? Lead by example. Jesus Christ said, how can you talk about someone who has a plank in their eye when you have a plank in your own eye? You have no right to judge and try to steer us and tell us these kinds of things or advise us on anything when you don't do the basic things that human beings do. Take care of their family. Find an abode. Get a job. Take care of your family. You don't have an abode. You don't have a job. You don't take care of your family. So tell me, people, why the fuck are we listening to him? Why are we listening to you? My job is to expose you. I'm going to do my best, the best I can to expose this nastiness that of who you are. You are a disgusting character. Disgusting. He needs to be in jail. A fraud, committing mail fraud.
But that's only skin deep. That's not the main issue here. That's not the main issue here. The fingernails and the high, that's actors do that. Actors will do that. That's not my issue.
Okay, I'm not going to listen no more. But what I want to say is he's getting a lot of donations from black single mothers. And I think it's because, like, back in the days, Umar was like a handsome individual. He still has some handsomeness about him. Like, you can kind of see it. Because a lot of girls, one girl said, handsome where? And that's because kind of we have become biased because we don't like him. We know that he's a fraud. But those people just coming in the game, they see him. He's a decent looking guy. He's tall, and he's very good at oratory, speaking, right? And you have black women that are single, that have children, that are available, and they're just hoping, oh, maybe Umar is the father of my child. Maybe he can be the father of my child. I think a lot of them, that is why they donate. Because they see him as the father that they wish their children had. This facade shows them that's what they want, and that's why they give him money. And by giving him money, they also hopefully maybe they can get with him. You know, maybe he could, because all he's doing is talking and talking and talking. Just, you know, it doesn't mean anything, though. It doesn't have any substance, like I said before. He just talking, you know, and it's just like, there's nothing. It's just all air. It means absolutely nothing to him. Whatever he says, he really doesn't mean. Because if you gave this guy a donation, he would be hounding praise for transgenders. If Dwayne Wade gave him $1 million right now, he would change his tune on this whole thing that he's talking to you about. All he wants is your money. And the reason why he's talking about Dwayne Wade, because this is the popular topic at the time. He talked about Kobe without any respect. This is the popular topic at the time.